Hey everybody, so I just wanted to take a moment to go through some extra details about this one property that we have, give you a little additional insight. Of course, if you look at the photos here in the gallery, you're going to see that these photos, like a lot of the land that we've shown you in Highland Meadows, it's a lot of similar features. You've got a nice flat buildable piece of land. Of course, off in the near or far distance, you can see some utility easements. As you go through the gallery, of course, you get a sense of the Mesa Redonda, often about 4 miles from this property, and the surrounding foothills, and just generally how kind of picturesque of a region this is. And in some of these photos, you can see some development both near and far away. What is conspicuously absent from these photos, however, is any sort of indication of the roads. So I just want to give you guys a sense about access with this property, okay? So first off, if we pull this up on a map, the subject property sits right here off of Raspberry. Now, 90% of the drive out to this land, and let me just pull back and kind of show you where this is. 90% of the drive out to this land is all paved road. You come in here off the 40, you go down to the 6, you turn here on Sparrow Hawk Road, and then you could pull into the subdivision off one of the main entrances here, which is Highland Boulevard. And you could take Highland all the way down to the subject property, basically all the way, and Highland is a paved road, okay? And if you zoom in here on this, what you're going to see is that you've got this Lucero Drive. And Lucero looks like it's a pretty well-maintained road. And that's going to get you basically right to the property right here on Raspberry. Now, here's the thing I want to point out to you guys. If you go to map view, what you're going to see is that this Lucero cuts through 1, 2, 3 properties. That makes me think that Lucero is in fact not a legal road. That it's probably this Lucero down here that is the legal road. And that this, in fact, may be this person's own creation. And because there's nobody living on these 3 lots, nobody's objected or said anything. But this person maybe, basically took it upon themselves to kind of cut out a trail here, pave it, put down some gravel, whatever, and make their commute just a little bit easier than going kind of all the way around the block. Okay. Now, if you buy land out here and you start to develop it, maybe you'll have a good relationship with this neighbor, and they'll let you use this road that they've built here, or maybe they'll say, no, I spent money on this, I don't want you, crossing this path. In which case, you should be aware, of course, that you always have legal access to this road another 2 ways. One is you're coming down Highland, you turn on Denny, you go down Raspberry and you access it this way, or you can go down Highland, turn here on this Lucero, and go up Raspberry this way. Either way, nobody can bar you from accessing your land because you do have legal access here along Raspberry. Now, generally speaking, when our photographer goes out to these properties, he tries not to talk to the neighbors too much. For 2 reasons. One, if they're not agreeable people, usually they, don't take a picture of my house, get off the land, who sent you out here, blah, blah, blah. Or if they're really friendly, they talk him to death while he's trying to fly a drone around the property. So generally speaking, he tries to avoid people, which is another reason why if you look at the photo gallery on this page, you're not going to see a lot of photos of this particular house. Whatever the case, I do want to show you just here in the overhead shot that this Raspberry right here, this is not a well-defined road. While it is a legal access road, it's not something that maybe is going to be very easy to discern if you didn't know that it existed, okay? So just want to impress upon you guys that yes, the property does have legal access, does have, the road frontage here along Raspberry, but it's not well defined. And maybe you'll have some good luck with, the neighbor who seems to have carved out a pretty nice trail for himself. Let me just jump ahead into one of the other photos here, see what we can see on this end. Maybe you could take this little path up here to your property, and maybe you can't, okay? So just something to be prepared for, and maybe if you're looking at this property seriously as something you want to develop, maybe that's a, part of the scout that you take when you go out there. Just see if you run into the neighbor, if they're nice, if they're agreeable, ask them what the situation with the road is, so on and so forth. But that's something that we at least wanted to make you aware of. Now, additionally, guys, I also want to point out the situation with utilities. The power with this property is, essentially 1 lot over, right? 1 lot south is where you'll find power. It's hooked up here on this guy's land. Obviously, he's got power going to his property. And if you look specifically in this photo, you're going to see, you don't see the power line that's on his property, but you see this one that's leading over to it. And then you could kind of see the power lines right here that lead to this utility easement. 1, 2, 3. If we go back to the map here and you kind of zoom in, you might have to scrutinize this one on your own time. I'm not sure that this will read very well in the video, but you can see the utility easement that exists. 1, 2, 3, basically running parallel Raspberry, just sort of at the halfway point between Highland and Raspberry. Here's the utility easement. Now, of course, You can also see that right here on this neighbor's property is where that aforementioned power line is. And if you continue to go through these photos, excuse me, you will see it again just right here. So point being, power basically just one lot over, and that is the situation with road access. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Thanks for watching.